Welcome to TSHA's Call for Papers for our annual convention. Our goal is to provide high-quality continuing education across the fields of speech-language pathology and audiology and to promote evidence-based practice. TSHA strives to attract speakers, new and experienced, that share and are committed to this goal. We hope this brief presentation will give you some tips for creating an excellent Call for Papers submission. In this presentation, we'll be covering each of the areas required in the Call for Papers submission. We'll discuss what characteristics the program committee is looking for when reviewing papers and some tips for developing and explaining your ideas. First, let's tackle a few quick details about the Call for Papers, like the title, strands, instructional level, and presentation type. You'll want to choose a great title for your presentation. You can use up to 12 words, and you'll want to use simple, clear language that describes your topic. Catchy titles are fun, but avoid cliché. Be sure to use title case, that is, capitalize only the major words. You'll also choose the strand or topic area that your presentation best fits in. These descriptions are listed on the TSHA Call for Papers submission portal. Most submissions will fit clearly into one strand. But if your topic is relevant to another strand, you can choose to cross-reference it as well. For example, a presentation on AAC assessment would primarily fall in the AAC strand, but might also cross-reference to the language strand, depending on what the presenter chose to focus on. Regarding presenters, if you have multiple speakers, choose co-presenter for each of them. If someone will not be present at the session but contributed to its development, select author for them. Remember that each presenter who will be present at the convention session needs to sign a disclosure agreement as a part of your submission. The instructional level is fairly straightforward, and the descriptions are available on the submission portal. When deciding on a level to select for your presentation, you'll want to consider the difficulty of your learner outcomes, as well as the amount of background knowledge or experience you will expect attendees to have on your topic. Introductory sessions should increase attendees' awareness about a topic by providing general information. Participants are not expected to have much previous knowledge on that topic prior to attending. Intermediate sessions, however, do assume that participants are somewhat familiar with background knowledge or experience. The goal is to increase attendees' understanding and application of concepts. Advanced sessions are just that. They focus on recent advances or future directions for research, so it's expected that attendees come with a thorough understanding of that area. Here is a quick description of the types of presentations you can select from. Remember that certain types of presentations are limited to 60 minutes or 120 minutes. You can find that information on the TSHA Call for Papers submission portal, as it may change slightly from year to year. Oral presentations are the most common type of session at TSHA and the clinically based continuing education you are most familiar with. You should choose a product presentation if your session will describe retail products, equipment, or therapy materials. Research presentations are oral presentations designed to showcase studies that are in progress or have recent findings. And finally, poster sessions. These are a somewhat different format that can be a great fit for students, new presenters, or speakers just looking for a more informal interaction with their attendees. Keep in mind that the type of presentation, as well as the length of time you are given, are final decisions made by the programming committee as they are slotting presentations into the program. Sometimes the length of session needs to be shortened, or the presentation type may be changed in order to fit all the amazing content in the program. Let's tackle learner outcomes next. This is actually a great place to start when you first have an idea for a presentation. Consider the question. What do you want your participants to learn? Your answer will shape the bones of your presentation and help you organize it into sections. Generally, you will want attendees to come away with 3 outcomes, although you may have more if your presentation is longer. It's important to write your outcomes or objectives in a certain way. This is one of the criteria the program committee requires in order to accept a presentation. Just as we clinicians write a long or short-term goal for our students, patients, or clients, we as speakers want to write these learning goals in a specific, objective, and measurable way. Choose the critical skills that you want your attendees to walk away with. Avoid using words like learn or demonstrate understanding, as these aren't really measurable. Instead, use strong action words that give an idea of what attendees will learn. Remember that attendees will be able to review these in the mobile app or on the website to help them make decisions about what sessions to go to. So you want to check carefully for typos. A great way to choose action words for your learner outcomes is to reference Bloom's taxonomy. This model classifies educational objectives into levels of complexity and specificity. You can easily find lists of these action words on the TSHA Call for Papers portal or by Googling Bloom's taxonomy. Let's look at how it's organized. The levels on the bottom, remembering and understanding, represent the simplest and most concrete examples of learning. Action words in these levels are best used to teach basic concepts and facts or summarize main ideas. Words might include define, list, describe, explain, and identify. The second two levels, applying and analyzing, are best when requiring participants to take prior knowledge and apply it in a new way, or asking them to compare or contrast different ideas. Action words might include implement, demonstrate, use, compare, or contrast. The top two levels, evaluating and creating, describe the highest levels of critical thinking, including synthesizing pieces of information, critiquing ideas, or developing something new from what they've been given. Words might include select, critique, evaluate, develop, or design. When you're developing your learning outcomes, it's helpful to consider your instructional level. Introductory sessions will likely include learning outcomes from the lower 4 levels of the taxonomy. Intermediate sessions should include some lower levels and some higher levels, and advanced sessions will likely only include outcomes from the highest 4 levels. Let's move on to the session description. This section is the meat of your submission, and it's the best place to make a case for why the programming committee should include your presentation in the convention program. You'll want to make sure you cover what your session is about and why it's important to share that information with attendees. A great way to begin your session description is to pose a question or issue that your presentation will be answering. It's helpful to prepare by doing a literature review about this question or issue. This will allow you to effectively summarize findings of the most current research articles or describe peer-reviewed tutorials in your summary. Don't forget to cite these appropriately in your description. We'll talk more later about what types of resources are good to consider. You'll also want to describe your qualifications or experience with this topic to support that you have the knowledge and skills to teach others. Next, you'll want to loosely describe your presentation agenda. A great presentation structure begins with some background information from the literature, covers all the stated learning objectives, and includes interactive learning methods for participants. It's fine to use bullet points here to explain what you'll cover. For example, you might include a list of principles, a theory or working model, or steps in a tutorial. As you conclude, make sure that you've addressed the initial question you posed. There is a word limit of 1,000 for the session description, but the committee is looking for concise, well-written submissions. Remember that if your submission is selected by the program committee, your summary may be posted on the convention website and app for attendees to review. There are examples of good summaries posted on the TSHA website for you to review if needed. Next, let's cover the abstract, which addresses the simple question, why should participants choose to attend your session? With so many excellent sessions to attend, participants want as much information as possible to help them make their decisions when looking at the convention agenda. Unfortunately, you have a 50-word limit to catch their attention. Use 2 to 3 sentences as your elevator pitch. Use simple, clear, and inviting language, and it can be powerful to use a simple question. Check out some great example abstracts on the TSHA website. Now let's circle back to a topic we mentioned before. You will need 3 to 5 references that support the information that you'll be sharing in your presentation. Let's talk about where you can find quality references. One of the most common types of references is peer-reviewed journals. The ASHA or AAA journals are a great place to start looking, but there are many more journals in our fields and related fields. You can also use current edition textbooks as a source. Another excellent option is the ASHA Practice Portal. Not only is it a great source of information itself, but it also lists numerous references for you to review. Other, less common but acceptable resources can be continuing education seminars or webinars, including presentations given at state and national conventions like TSHA, AAA, or ASHA. Please avoid using non-scholarly references for your submission, for example, websites like Wikipedia or YouTube. Let's talk for a few minutes about presentation format. Here, you can list the ways that you will address various learning styles, engage attendees, and reach some of the higher levels of Bloom's taxonomy. The TSHA Program Committee would like to support speakers in developing their toolbox for engaging attendees in their own learning. So, speakers who have been accepted in the convention program each year can reach out to the Education Innovation Chair at programming@txsha.org for support in this area. For now, let's review a few ideas. PowerPoints, or slides made in similar programs, have become the standard presentation tool for professional conferences, but often attendees are faced with slide after slide full of words. It can be challenging to maintain focus on learning material read off a slide for multiple hours a day. Using slide visuals in a more powerful way to convey a message is a great first step in engaging your attendees. There are a lot of great tutorials on YouTube for this, or you can reach out to us at TSHA for support. Next, use technology to your advantage. You can show specific therapy techniques with video clips, or view a case study and lead an analysis discussion. There are also online polling sites you can access from your phone or a hotspot. Audiences can answer discussion questions on their phones, respond to polls, or take interactive quizzes throughout your presentation. These go a long way to keep your attendees actively participating with you. Another common technique for keeping learners involved is to use different kinds of breakout groups. This can be a simple 1-minute pair and share where attendees respond to a simple discussion question with a partner sitting nearby. You might also have participants get into small groups for a bit longer discussion. The type of breakout activity you plan and the prompts you give may depend on the size of your audience, and you can be a bit more flexible with a smaller crowd. After the breakout time is up, you can choose whether to take feedback from a few groups or provide your own conclusion to the activity. As I mentioned before, these interactive learning activities are critical for reaching learner outcomes at the highest levels of Bloom's taxonomy. Introductory level sessions might include more reflection and recalling of information, whereas intermediate and advanced sessions should incorporate application, analysis, or evaluation of information presented. Practice labs are the highest level of participation and are best reserved for longer and advanced presentation sessions. As you're submitting your call for papers, you certainly do not need to have all activities planned out, but the program committee would like to know what ideas you're considering and what you think will work best for your topic and learner outcomes. Well, we've shared a ton of information with you about how to put together a great call for paper submission, but you may have more questions. Reach out to us at programming@txsha.org. We'd be happy to help you navigate the submission portal, brainstorm ideas for interactive learning, or help with any other questions. TSHA is so appreciative of our speakers. You are what makes the convention program so incredible each year. Thank you.